Good morning, dear students. Today I am taking class 9th science. We are in first chapter, matters in our surrounding. In the last class I have discussed about the three states of matter. The matters exist in three states. Which are they? They are solid, liquid and gas. And I have discussed about what are these states of matter, what are the characteristics of these matters. In today's class, let me discuss about, can matter change its state? What happens to the matter when we change the temperature? What effect does it have when we change the temperature? Does it remain in the same state of matter, or is there any changes in states of matter? And I am going to discuss about evaporation. These are the topics I am going to cover in today's class. We all know water exists in three states of matter. That is, water can exist in ice, in the form of ice, water and water vapor. There we can observe solid state of ice, liquid state of water and gaseous state of water vapor. Now let us discuss about what happens inside the matter during this change of state, and what happens to the particles of matter during the change of state, and how does this change takes place. Let us find the answer for these questions by conducting this activity.
To conduct this experiment, we have a very simple setup here. We have a beaker, a thermometer and a stand, and this beaker is kept on a stove and a container. And this container has usually water in it, which means that it acts as a water bath. And this is done to provide uniform heating. So now we keep ice in our beaker. So initially when we start the experiment with ice, we see that it has some negative temperature. But as soon as we keep ice outside, it starts absorbing energy from its surroundings, and therefore the temperature increases from some negative temperature to 0 degrees Celsius. And as the temperature reaches 0 degrees Celsius, you see that the ice starts melting. Now the ice is melting and it is absorbing energy from the surroundings. But still, if you notice, the temperature is constant at 0 degrees Celsius. In fact, this temperature remains constant until all the ice in the system has melted to become or get converted into liquid water. Once this happens, or once we have only liquid water existing in the system, we turn on the stove, because now we want to convert water into gas or steam. So now when we start heating, we see that the temperature now starts rising and increases and finally reaches up to 100 degrees Celsius. As soon as we hit 100 degrees Celsius, we see that bubbles start forming in the beaker, which means that our water has started boiling. So now we're constantly heating our beaker. Boiling is happening, bubbles are forming, but still, if you notice, the temperature is now constant at 100 degrees Celsius. Why exactly do you think this happens? On both the conversion points, that is ice, solid ice converting to liquid water and liquid water converting into gaseous water vapor, you see that the temperature remains constant at both the points, even though we're constantly supplying the heat.
From this activity, we can conclude that when we increase the temperature of solids, there is increase in the kinetic energy of the particles. The kinetic energy of the particles increases when we increase the temperature. And due to the increase of kinetic energy, the particles start vibrating with a greater speed. We observe the vibration of particles. What is this vibration of particles? They tries to break the bond between them. We all know between the particles of matter there is strong force of attraction that keeps them together. So when we supply the temperature to the substance, as the temperature increases, as the kinetic energy increases, they tries to break the bond between them. The energy supplied by the heat overcomes the force of attraction between the particles, and the particles leave their fixed position and start moving freely. This is the reason they break their bonds between each other and they start moving randomly in all directions. A stage is reached when the solid melts and is converted to liquid, and after that, after some time, it reaches the stage where the solid will melt and it is completely converted into liquid state. That temperature we call it as melting point. The temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid at the atmospheric pressure is called its melting point. What is melting point? It's the temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid at atmospheric pressure is called its melting point. At that temperature, all the particles breaks its bond and it start moving randomly, and they changes its state at the atmospheric pressure. The melting point of a solid is the indication of strength of force of attraction between its particles. This melting point indicates the strength of force of attraction between its particles. What happens in the state of ice? There is the force of attraction between the particles is stronger compared to the force of attraction between the particles in liquid state. So, have you observed what is the melting point of ice from this experiment? Yeah, the melting point of ice is 273.16 Kelvin or 0 degree Celsius. The melting point of ice is 273.16 Kelvin or 0 degree Celsius. The process of melting, that is change of solid state into liquid state, is also known as fusion. The process of melting, that is change of solid state into liquid state, is also known as fusion. This process is known as fusion. When a solid melts, its temperature remains the same. So where does the heat energy go? Have you observed in the experiment? When the solid starts melting, the temperature remains constant. There is no increase or decrease in the temperature. The temperature remains the same. So, where does this temperature, the supplied heat energy, where does this temperature goes? What happens to the supplied energy? If you keep on continue supplying the heat energy, the temperature remains the constant. The reason is the supplied heat energy is used up by the particles in order to overcome the force of attraction between the particles. What is the reason? What is the reason for remaining the same temperature? Whatever temperature you have supplied to the particles, that can be used up by the particles in order to break the bond between them. That is the reason. That is why there is no change in the temperature. As this heat energy is absorbed by ice without showing any rise in temperature, it is considered that it gets hidden into the contents of the beaker and is known as the latent heat. So what happens? The whatever heat energy you supplied to the ice, when it starts melting, that heat energy is absorbed by the ice, so it does not show any rise in temperature. So this heat energy is considered as the latent heat. This heat is considered as a latent heat. The word latent means hidden. Meaning of latent is hidden. The amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is known as the latent heat of fusion. What is latent heat of fusion? The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is known as the latent heat of fusion. So, the particles in water at 0 degree Celsius have more energy as compared to particles in ice at the same temperature. What happened here? When the solid starts converting into liquid, the whatever energy you supplied, that is used up by the particles of water. So that time the energy is used by the particles of water. So I can say that the particles in water, whatever whatever ice started melting, in that particles of water at 0 degree Celsius have more energy, because the energy is absorbed by the particles there, have more energy as compared to the particles in ice at the same temperature. And when we keep on supplying the heat energy to the beaker, what happens? The particles of water have more energy, and they starts moving faster. At a certain temperature, a point is reached when the particles have enough energy to break free from the force of attraction of each other. As you all know, the force of attraction between the particles of ice have the stronger bond compared to particles of water. So as you keep on increasing the temperature, after some time, after certain time, the temperature reaches certain point. At that temperature, the particles have enough energy to break free from the force of attraction of each other. At a certain point, there is complete breakdown of the force of attraction between the particles. So at this temperature, the liquid starts changing into gas. So at that temperature, the liquid starts changing into gas. So the temperature at which a liquid starts boiling at a atmospheric pressure is known as its boiling point. The temperature at which liquid starts boiling at the atmospheric pressure is known as its boiling point. Boiling is the bulk phenomenon. It is not the simple process. It require lots of energy. It is a bulk phenomena. Particles from the bulk of the liquid gain enough energy to change into vapor state. When it starts boiling, it gets more enough energy to change into vapor state. The water vapor have lots of energy that consume lots of energy compared to the particles of water. So for water, the boiling temperature is 373 Kelvin, that is 100 degrees Celsius. Boiling point of water is 373 Kelvin. So when the temperature reaches 373 Kelvin or 100 degrees Celsius, we say that the water started boiling, and at that particular temperature it starts vaporizing into water vapor. So now can you define what is the latent heat of vaporization? The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of liquid into gas at its atmospheric pressure at the boiling point is known as the latent heat of vaporization. So it is the amount of heat required to change the liquid into gas at its atmospheric pressure at the boiling point. That we call it as latent heat of vaporization. So here, which particles have more energy? It is similar to the particles which are in fusion. It is similar to that. That is the water vapor at 373 Kelvin. The water vapor, the particles which are having the temperature 373 Kelvin have more energy than the water at the same temperature. The water vapor have more energy compared to the water at the same temperature, because all the energy, whatever and when it reaches the boiling point, after some time it remains the same. That time what happens, the whatever energy supplied is used by the particles of vapor. So this is because the particles in the steam have absorbed extra energy in the form of latent heat of vaporization. So how can you change the states of matter? You can change the solid into liquid by heating. Again, converting liquid into gaseous state by heating. And when do you convert gaseous state into liquid state? By cooling. By cooling the water vapor, you will get back the water. Again, when you freeze the liquid, when you cool the liquid, again when you freeze, you will get the solid state of liquid, that is ice. So we can infer that the states of matter can be changed into another state by changing the temperature. By changing the temperature, we can change the state of matter. So we can give so many examples for the change in state of matter, and they have lots of application by changing one state into another state. But sometimes the matters does not follow the similar order. Solid is converted into liquid and then it is converted into gas. Sometimes there is direct conversion of solid into gas or gas into solid. Like that we can see the changes, direct change or without changing into the liquid state. Now let us understand this through this activity.
Sublimation. If you keep naphthalene balls exposed to air for some days, it is observed that their size gets reduced after some days. This happens due to a phenomenon called sublimation. Normally, solids transformed into liquid on heating, but in sublimation, a solid gets directly transformed to a gas on heating or on exposure to air. In above case, as some mass of the naphthalene balls is converted to a gas, they get reduced in size. There is a simple experiment to study sublimation. Some ammonium chloride is taken in a china dish and a glass funnel is kept inverted on it. A cotton plug is inserted into the funnel and the china dish is slowly heated. It is observed that ammonium chloride on heating gets directly transformed into vapor. Also, the vapors get cooled on the glass surface and are converted into solid form. Thus, we infer that ammonium chloride undergoes sublimation and hence is converted into vapor form directly. Also, the vapors when allowed to cool directly get transformed into solid state.
So in this activity you have observed that there is change of solid state into gaseous state without changing into liquid state. So this type of process is known as sublimation. A change of state directly from solid to gas without changing into liquid state is called sublimation. Now let us understand effect of change of pressure. What happens when we change the pressure on the what happens to the matter when we change the pressure of the substance or the matter? We have already learnt that there is a major difference between the states of matter is the space between the particles. What is that? In solid state, all the particles are closely packed. There is the particles are very closely held together. There is strong force of attraction between the particles. But in case of liquid, the force of attraction between the particles is less compared to the particles of solid. And one more thing, in case of gas, the particles are very far away. They are not close, they are very far away. So they are freely moving in the container. So that is the major difference between the states of matter. So what happens when we put the pressure on the particles? If we apply the pressure on the particles, can the state of matter changes? Do you think that the increase or decrease of the pressure can change the state of matter? Yes, by applying the pressure or reducing the temperature, we can liquefy the gases. By applying the pressure or reducing the temperature, we can liquefy the gases. So we can change the state of matter by applying the pressure. So have you heard about solid carbon dioxide? Actually carbon dioxide is gas. But have you heard about carbon dioxide, solid carbon dioxide? It is stored under high pressure. A solid carbon dioxide is stored under high pressure. The particles are closely packed. So the solid carbon dioxide gets converted directly to gaseous state or decrease of pressure to 1 atmosphere without coming to liquid state. Here what happens? The solid carbon dioxide gets converted directly to gaseous state on the decrease of pressure to 1 atmosphere without taking into the liquid state. So that is the reason we call that solid carbon dioxide as dry ice. We call solid carbon dioxide as dry ice. The reason is the solid carbon dioxide is directly converted into gaseous state. That is the reason. Thus we can say that pressure and temperature determine the state of substance. We can understand by knowing the pressure, by knowing the temperature of the substance, we can make out the object is in which state. So object we can and there is always interconversion of 3 states of matter. We can convert one state of matter into another state. How? If we take the solid, by fusing, by melting, we can convert them into liquid. After that, how to convert the liquid into gas? By applying more heat, by supplying more heat energy, we can by increasing the temperature of the liquid, we can vaporize and we can bring it in the gaseous state. And how to convert gas into solid state? How? That process we call it as the change of gaseous state into solid state, we call it as sublimation. There is direct conversion of solid state into gaseous state or gaseous state into solid state. There is no change into liquid state. So there is always interconversion of states of matter taking place between the particles. And there is one more question. Does this only temperature and pressure can changes the states of matter? Only these things helps to change the state of matter. Let us take few examples. Okay, if you keep the water in a beaker in a hot sun, what happens after some time? What happens to the level of water? Or if you put the clothes for drying, what happens to the water? What happens to the wet clothes? After some times, where does that water goes? Is there any boiling process takes place when you keep the hot water for the sunlight and change in the level of water, or when you dry up the clothes? So we can change the state of matter without applying the pressure or without increasing the temperature or decreasing the temperature. So We know that particles of matter are randomly moving. They are not at rest. Always there is changes in the, always they are randomly moving in the given content. So at a given temperature in any gas, liquid or solid, there are particles with the different amounts of kinetic energy. At a given temperature, the particles of any gas or liquid or solid, they have particular amount of kinetic energy. They have kinetic energy. What is kinetic energy? The energy possessed by the body when it is at motion. The particles are moving. So if we take the example of liquid, there are some amount of particles. They have little more higher kinetic energy. So this kinetic energy is enough to break away the force of attraction between the particles of remaining particles in the solution. So some particles have higher energy that have the ability to break down the force of attraction between the particles. So that time it gets converted into water vapor. It gets converted into gaseous state. This phenomena, change of liquid into vapor at any temperature below its boiling point, is known as evaporation. So what is evaporation? In the evaporation process, there is conversion of liquid into gaseous state, and this process takes place below the boiling point. It does not reach its boiling point. So this process is known as evaporation. What is evaporation? It's a phenomena of change of liquid into vapor at any temperature below its boiling point. So there are few factors which affects the evaporation process. Let us understand this through this activity.
Factors affect the rate of evaporation on surface area and wind speed. The rate of evaporation increases with increased surface area. Let us explain with the help of activity. Take a test tube and 2 china dishes and fill them with same amount of water. Place one china dish inside the cupboard and the other china dish and test tube under the fan. We switch on the fan, leave them for few hours and observe. We observe that the rate of vaporization is faster in china dish kept under the fan than the china dish inside the cupboard or the test tube. This is because the area outside the cupboard is higher, and also the surface area is more in comparison to the china dish in cupboard. Thus we conclude that the rate of evaporation increases with the increased surface area and also increases with an increase in the wind speed. This is because the fast moving air takes away the water vapors from the atmosphere, thereby decreasing its amount and making room for more. As a result, more evaporation occurs.
So you can take many examples, daily life examples. So when you try to dry up the clothes, if you spread out and put, it gets dried up very faster. So we can say that when we increase the surface area, the evaporation process, the rate of evaporation increases. When you increase the surface area, the evaporation process takes place very quickly. There is increase in evaporation process. And also when you increase the temperature, evaporation process takes place quickly. When it is a sunny day, that day the clothes gets dried up very quickly compared to during the rainy season. During the rainy season, it is difficult to dry up the clothes because during the sunny day, the temperature of the environment, atmosphere is high. That is why the clothes, the particles gets high kinetic, the particles gets more kinetic energy. So it gets dried up and it gets converted into vapor state. A decrease in humidity. What happens? Humidity decreases. If there is more humidity, that decreases the evaporation process or decrease in humidity. What is humidity? Humidity is the amount of water vapor present in the air. Around our environment, in the atmosphere, the air contains certain amount of water vapor, and at a given temperature, the air around us contain certain amount of water vapor at a given temperature. And if the amount of water vapor in very high, if the amount of water vapor is very high, that decreases the evaporation process. See, during the rainy season, it is difficult to dry up the clothes. So, humidity decreases the evaporation. And one more factor is increase in wind speed. That when you increase the wind speed, the particles of water vapor move away with the wind. So, that decreases the amount of water vapor in the surroundings. When it is a windy day, that day the amount of water particles is less in the environment, in the atmosphere. So that if you put up the wet clothes for drying on a windy day, what happens? The particles are moved away with the wind. So these are the factors which affects the evaporation process. Now let us discuss how does evaporation cause cooling. So whenever you keep the beaker of water for evaporating, what happens? It absorbs the energy for evaporating from the surrounding. That time what happens? The surrounding energy will be used by the water particles, and that makes the surrounding cool. So the surrounding energy, the surrounding atmosphere, the surrounding water particles gets cooled. Or whenever you put acetone or the nail polish remover on your hand, what happens? You feel cold. What is the reason? When the acetone gets converted into gas, when the acetone starts evaporating, it make use of the energy from your palm or from the surrounding, and that makes you cool. That is the reason you feel the cold. You might have seen during the sunny day, if you sprinkle the water on the ground or in the sit out, what happens? You feel little cold. You feel little cold that day, because during the sunny day, lots of latent heat of vaporization takes place. And when you sprinkle the water, what happens? The energy was used for the evaporation, and that makes the surrounding cool. That helps to cool the hot surface. And during summer season, we sweat more, we respire more. Okay, what happens? Whenever we do some exercise or when we play, we respire more. So lots of mechanical energy was used up for the used up by the body. So there is conversion of water particles into water vapor. So that keeps the body cool. The energy was used up by this water particles, water vapor. So that keeps after sweating we feel cold. That the reason is because the particles was used up this energy. So that keeps the body surface cool. So the heat energy is equal to the latent heat of vaporization is absorbed from the body, leaving the body cool. So we feel cold after sweating. That is the reason. And one more thing, during summer season we prefer cotton clothes, because cotton absorb more water particles. Cotton is a natural fiber that absorb water particles more. So whenever we wear cotton clothes during summer season, it absorb more sweat, and when we expose it to the atmosphere, it will be evaporated easily, and after that we feel cold whenever we wear cotton clothes. And have you observed, when you keep the ice cubes containing tumbler in the atmosphere, Have you observed the water droplets on the outer surface of a glass containing cold ice cubes? Have you observed water droplets on the outer surface of the glass containing ice cube? If you keep the glass containing ice cubes in the open atmosphere, what happens? You can see in the outer surface you can observe the droplets. What is the reason for the formation of these droplets? What happens? The water vapor present in the air, when they come in contact with the cold glass of water, it loses the energy and it gets converted into liquid state. What happens? In the atmosphere, water vapor is present, that is humidity. In the atmosphere, air is containing certain amount of water particles in them. So when these water particles come in contact with the cold glass containing ice cube, what happens? It loses its energy. The energy of atmospheric air containing water vapor is very less. So when they come in contact with the glass containing cold water, it loses the energy. That energy was supplied to the cold glass, so it loses the energy and it gets converted into liquid state. There is conversion of water vapor of atmosphere into liquid state. So that is the reason for this observation of water droplets. Evaporation is the reason. Okay, in your textbook there is little more information is given. Along with these three states of matter, there is one more matter exists, that is plasma state of matter, that we can observe in the stars. In the stars, this ionized particles are present, and in the tube light also these plasma state exist. So about that more information is given in your textbook. That particle was discovered by S.N. Bose and Albert Einstein. So together it is known as Bose-Einstein particle. You can read it through the textbook. I finished this chapter. If you have any doubts, please clarify. Read the textbook once again, and I will give the class notes in the next class. Thank you.